Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. I've got two very interesting topics for you today. My first topic is Bharat Jodo Yatra. Bharat Jodo Yatra that Rahul Gandhi has undertaken for the Congress. Let's talk about that. That's my topic number one. My topic number two is, are governors actually helping a state or are they harming it? That's my topic number two. Let's get right into the show. You see, Yatra is actually a movement. It's a movement. You had the Dandi March, the Dandi Yatra, you could call it. You had the Rath Yatra. Chandrasekhar, the former Prime Minister of India, had done a Bharat Yatra. So a lot of people had done Yatra and a lot of Yatras were successful, some were irrelevant. Now Yatra, if we were to juxtapose that to a marketing context, a Yatra in marketing is called as an activation project. An activation project. It is an activity, it is an event. In social terms, it will be called as movement. Now, basically, before we plan an activation project, the first thing that a good marketing agency or a good advertising agency or a good marketing mind will do is identify the consumer insight, identify the need for an activation. Once you identify the need for an activation, then you identify the aim of the activation, which would be possibly to resolve the need for the activation. Now, without a proper need for the activation, without proper understanding consumer insight, if you do activation, then activation will have no results. This is what activation is. You see, a successful movement is not just about meeting people, connecting to people. It is not just about that. A successful movement is inspiring people. You inspire people when you are taking up an issue that relates to mass of that audience that you want to capture. That relates to audience. When a topic inspires you, you want to join it. And when you want to join it, the movement becomes big. Let's take example. Dandi March. That handful of salt that the Mahatma picked, that represented a lot of things to a lot of people. It represented freedom. It represented challenging the British. Super inspirational. Super successful. Rath Yatra. It represented Hindu dominance to a certain section of the people. It represented Hindu dominance to a certain section of the people. Huge response, successful campaign. Main bhi Anna. It represented fighting against corruption, doing something for the country and for a lot of youngsters who have just seen freedom fighters and freedom struggle in books and papers and movies. For them, it was something that they could do for the country. So hugely inspirational and also very close to their heart, because corruption was something which was very close to their heart. So inspirational, relevant, therefore successful. Now the point that I am trying to make is, before you start a movement, there are a few boxes you need to tick. First of all, the cause that you have started this movement for, is that relevant to the bulk of the audience? So is Bharat Jodo Yatra relevant to bulk of the audience, which means that even audience who are with you and audience who are fence-sitters, forget about audience who are not with you. I am talking about fence-sitters and audience with you. Is that a consumer insight that your audience feel? If it is not, then what are you trying to do? That is the first question. The second question is, what is the message? What is the aim that you are giving through this yatra then? What are you delivering to the people through this yatra? Gandhi, when he picked up that handful of salt, he delivered a challenge to British for the people of India. That is what he was delivering. What are you delivering through this yatra? That's a question that Rahul Gandhi needs to ask himself. While I always say and I always believe that Rahul Gandhi is one of the most popular leaders in Congress, and while I always say and I always believe, at the cost of getting trolled, I always say that I don't think there is any other leader in Congress who actually works for Congress. Rest of them, they will criticize Congress. They will say, ye barabar nahi hai, wo barabar nahi hai, and all of that. Only one person who actually, he and his sister and possibly that Gandhi family, are the only people who actually goes and works for Congress, does something to develop Congress. But my only submission is, I wish such yatras, such campaigns were done with a little more research, with a little more strategic inputs, with a little more impetus on what the consumer really wants. And if such kind of activation projects would have been taken over after that, maybe the response would have been phenomenal. Maybe the impact of it, response, I will never go by response in India, is because a lot of response is garnered. A lot of response is made up. But what I will go is the impact, the final impact, the what really it will do to the Indian political system, Indian politics after the yatra is over. That impact would have been far higher. That's the point I wanted to make today, and that's why I thought I should talk about this subject. But that being said, things about what he wears and where he stays, and people saying that he is wearing expensive clothes and all, I think all these are irrelevant. I think the man is trying to connect with people. That is good. I think he should be more grounded rather than having, rather than showing a more luxurious living and more organized, setup and all that. It would be great if he would go and stay with a worker, Congress worker, every night in one of his houses through and through his travel. That would have been fabulous. That would have been more impactful, because at the end of the day, connecting with people is also about being with people. So that would have helped more. This should also be taken as an opportunity for him to motivate people on ground and also identify leaders on ground for Congress. If through this yatra, he can physically identify leaders, I know it is too lesser time and all of that, but if he can identify leaders who are actually doing well for Congress from Kashmir to Kanyakumari throughout this yatra, I think that will at least add value to Congress, the party, in the future. So that's my point of view, and that's what I think about the Bharat Jodo Yatra. Okay, so now let me first define what a governor is according to the Constitution of India. The head of a state government is not the chief minister according to the Constitution of India. According to the Constitution of India, the head of a state government is the governor. The governor heads the state. Which means when the governor addresses, the governor says, my government did this, my government took this decision, my government is doing this, my government is doing that. Why? Because the government technically is under the governor. Now, it is irrelevant whether the governor belongs to the same political party that the government of the state is. The government of the state could belong to one political party, the governor could belong to another political party, but the Constitution says that the governor should be apolitical, should be above politics, and should treat the government of that particular state as his or her own. And in conjunction with the government, with the chief minister, should work towards the benefit of the state. This is why a governor is made. This is why we have a governor. Now, a taxpayer spends a lot of money on the governor. The governor stays in a Raj Bhavan. The governor has all the kind of protocols, something similar to what the president has. The governor is well looked after. There's a lot of staff that the governor has, and all of that. So, a taxpayer spends a lot of money to have a governor. We are a poor country. Our economy is the 5th largest, but end of the day, people are not rich. People are poor. In this poor country, we have such positions. Which is not bad. But what should the governor be then doing? The governor should be sitting in the chair of that governor's chair and trying to ensure that work with the chief minister and improve the quality of life for the people of that particular state, improve the economy of that state, improve the life of the state, improve the governance in that state. That's what a governor should be doing. But that is something that the governor is not seen to be doing. Now, I will give you two examples and then we will get into some more detail. Okay, I'm talking about Tamilisai Soundarajan. She is the governor of Telangana, and she had a lot of problems with her chief minister, the chief minister of Telangana. She, in a gathering, she said, beginning of the fourth year in the service of people of Telangana, she said, history will remember how a woman governor was discriminated against. I was denied governor's address and hosting of the flag. Even now, whenever I go, protocol isn't followed. Office should be respected, she said. Further on, she went on to say that I attended it as a governor of. She was talking about a meeting that was called for the zonal chief ministers, which was headed by the Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah. She said, I attended it as a Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry, and in the meeting, 75% of the issues were from Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. All the chief ministers were there then. Why didn't the chief minister, KCR, attend it? Okay, now she's talking about a meeting she attended as the Governor of Puducherry, and she is trying to blame the chief minister of the state where she is the governor. Now, mind you, she is supposed to work with that chief minister, work with him and ensure that the state is developed. That is what her job is. But no, she is bothered about, I was not given a chance to host the flag. I was not given protocol. I was not respected, so on and so forth. What is her intention? Is her intention to work with the governor and help the state improve, or her intention to cause problems for the chief minister, to make the chief minister unpopular amongst the voter? Is that what her cause is? Now, if constitutional position starts working like this, where is our country going to go and where is the state going to go? Why do we have a governor there? To make the chief minister more unpopular? Is that why we are having the governor? Taxpayer is paying so much money to maintain the Raj Bhavan and maintain a governor? It is time that we ask these questions. A lot of people now may be saying that, governor ko, if they don't respect, what will the governor do? The governor has to talk about it. You see, there are two things I ask you. If a managing director is not respected by the entire office, if a chairman of a company is not respected by the entire company, what? You blame the company or would you blame the chairman? Because if you are the chairman and you can't get the respect of your people, of your company, then the fault lies with you. And the last thing the chairman would want to do is take a press conference and say, my company, my managing director is an idiot. My marketing director is a bigger idiot. Usko wo bhi nahi malum. Is that how it is supposed to do? Is that how it's supposed to be? So the point that I am trying to make is, end of the day, a governor should be treating a state like her team. It is her team. It is her state. It is his or her state, in this case her, but it is his or her state. She is the leader of the state. It is her job to ensure that the state is run properly. It is her job to ensure that she runs it with the state leadership, which is the chief minister. It is very unfortunate. When constitutional positions go against their constitutional responsibilities. And it is high time we take notice of this. It is high time the Prime Minister of this country, the top leadership of this country, even at the cost of reprimanding their own people, correct this for the sake of this country. Because if this continues, we'll see a lot of problems in the future. Believe me, you. Till I see you next time, that is Monday at 10 o'clock. Namaskar.